Right, so you have a snare drum that is just not kicking, right? And you want to have some punch and some heft to it. This is an old school way of doing that. It's much simpler than just layering another sample on top of a snare. I know that's kind of a common thing nowadays, but there's a lot of reasons why you would not want to do that. One could be a phase relationship between the snare and the sample, especially if the snare is not always exactly the same as your sample, if that makes sense. Or if you wanted to maybe crank the low end of the EQ on the snare to make it heftier, that can cause problems way down the road and in the full mix. And so here's an old school way of doing that. It's pretty simple. Let's just listen real fast to this drum section. Now you'll notice how heavy that snare is, especially if you're listening on headphones or good monitors. And that will absolutely cut through a mix and give you that punch in the bottom frequencies as well. The way we're doing that is I have a snare, sounds like this. And I've set up another track parallel to that snare that is called a Moog SN. That just means Moog snare. Now all I've done on this track is take a Moog and create basically a noise track. Yeah, sounds great, right? That's what you want in your drum set, is that sound. No, that's not what we're gonna do. We're actually going to use the gate and trigger that gate from the actual snare track. The way I do that, I'm gonna turn that gate on. Okay, so I've got a gate here that is side chained to the snare drum. And what that means is that every time that snare drum hits, it's gonna open this gate and you're gonna hear that Moog distorted noise. Right, now if I put that in with the snare, here's just the snare. And here's both. Notice I've kind of pulled that up underneath. If I go too far, it's gonna sound bad. Yeah, it starts to be pretty obvious. So I'm gonna sneak that in up underneath the snare. Okay, again, here's just the snare without the Moog. And here's with it. Okay, that's it for today. Fat snares the old way. If you like this video, if it was helpful in any way, please hit like and subscribe. We're going to do a lot more of these kind of videos soon. Take care.